The day started off great and we enjoyed the ride to the lake. The ramp is about 4 minutes away on a scenic road once you exit the highway. We arrived before 10, but the parking lot was already full. There was a couple parking spots available, but there were several boats waiting to launch, so we didn't know if they'd be available when we went to park. As we made our way through the parking lot, we came to an inspection station where workers checked our boat for invasive species, and they asked where we last boated and if we had cleaned it since then. I read online that this lake is known for having lots of police activity, and that was the case today, but the officers seemed really cool. They were out on sea-doos, but they stayed around the ramp, and when someone would do something wrong like go too fast, they just told them to slow down. There wasn't a lot of space to stage our boats, so we did it while waiting in line, and that's when Matt discovered his battery was dead. There's a Walmart a few miles away, but Matt said he didn't want to replace it now.
Hey everyone, it's 𝗏𝗏𝗏, and today we are at a lake that we have never been to. We are at the Saratoga Lake near Saratoga Springs, New York. We're here because I wanted to go someplace different, but unfortunately, we had a problem. Matt's battery is dead. It had died once earlier in the year and he recharged it, but once it's recharged, it never really seems to work good again. So he's gonna leave his, I'm gonna take him out, and Nancy's gonna sit on the beach and just watch, you know, people and stuff like that. Then maybe I'll come back and they'll go out together or something, I'm not sure, but yeah. I would say this is an average lake for this area, maybe a little on the smaller side, because Lake George is close to 30,000 acres, and I believe 𝗏𝗏𝗏 Lake is also about that big. Regardless, we're gonna have a great time. We're gonna head out and see what this lake is like. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please leave a message in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer as best I can. So, I gotta take him with me. I hope he behaves. I might dump him off if he causes trouble. And if I'm brave, I'll let him drive so I can see what doing donuts at 40 miles an hour feels like.
There's a large no-wake zone near the State Highway 9P bridge, and it's very well marked. As you leave the no-wake zone, there's a green and red buoy marking the channel. I couldn't get a good picture of it, but for several hundred feet from the shoreline, the water is pretty shallow and it has tons of weed growth. We sucked some into our impeller and almost couldn't get going because of that. At the southern end of the lake are some restaurants, marinas, and a town beach. I couldn't tell if there was boat parking for the restaurants, but the marinas said no restaurant parking at their docks. About a third of the way from the southern end of the lake is a big hill, and on the side people spray painted their names and drew pictures. Matt and I especially liked the American flag. After checking on Nancy, Matt and I continued north up Fish Creek. Unfortunately, we couldn't go fast for very long because there were tons of kayaks on the creek and they basically took over the whole thing. It actually didn't matter though, because we got to the northern no-wake zone up near the Route 67 bridge pretty quickly. Fish Creek Marina and the Kayak Shack are located there. They rent kayaks and that's why there was so many on the river, and that's where everybody was coming from. There's also a pizza place on site, and if Matt had had his WaveRunner, we would have stopped to grab a bite, but we didn't want to keep Nancy waiting at the dock, so we turned around and headed back.
Once you get maybe a half a mile to the bridge, the northern bridge, it's all no wake zone through here, so you can't really go fast, but it's pretty. You kind of have to stay in the center of the channel though, because it's pretty shallow on the edges.
Matt said he didn't really want to go back out, and even though Nancy has her PWC and boating certificate, she doesn't really enjoy driving, so I took her out for a spin.
So we dropped Matt off and traded out Nancy. She wanted to go see the lake, so we're gonna head out, do a little bit of zooming around, and then probably come back and head home, because I don't know how fun it is for Matt, you know, just to sit on the beach. But I offered to let him take mine, but he didn't want to, so we're gonna go out, me and Nancy.
We kept it short because it got cloudy and was kind of chilly.
How you liking it, Nance?
Fine, small.
Yep, but not bad.
Cold.
Yeah. So as we wait for Matt to go get the truck, I want to reflect on the day. And overall, I think it was pretty good. The lake's a little small for my taste. I would prefer something like Lake George or 𝗏𝗏 where we can zoom around a bit more and, you know, let it rip a little bit. Overall, though, we had a pretty good time. A little busy, especially in the northern area with all of the kayaks. They kind of took over and hogged the area. Made it difficult to pick your way through, and you couldn't go fast because they basically covered the whole width of the river. But nothing serious, easy to deal with. You just go slow, and then once you're past them, you can go faster again. But we would maybe come back here again, but if we're gonna come up to this area, we would probably just go to Lake George or the 𝗏𝗏 Lake. But if you have any questions about it, please leave a message in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer as best I can. As always, thanks for watching and have a great day.